We've come here today to Bindaring Pde, one of Perth's signature addresses, to talk with someone who's just developed the house he grew up in 60 years ago. Coupling a successful career in teaching with 23 years as a professional cricketer, he led WA to 3 Sheffield Shields and played 6 Test matches for Australia. He was in fact my headmaster when I worked as a teacher at Hale School. So with some trepidation, I'm meeting up with who else but John Inverarity and his wife Jane to ask them exactly how'd they do it. So welcome, John and Jane. I'd like to hear your story about this actual development you've done. I believe, John, this is where you grew up.
Yes, it is, Charles. I was born here in 1944. My parents were both Fremantle people, and they moved up to Claremont in the 1930s, as many people did move into this area. It was opened up at that time. And my parents bought this property at 5 Bindaring Pde in the late 1930s, and then I lived here from 1944 until after I'd finished university.
So then you've decided now to actually develop this property. Presumably that's because the value is very much in the land itself. What decisions were involved in that process?
Well, it's been quite a complex process. My mother's sister built onto the back of our residence. So there was an ownership issue and the place needed to be separated. It was the old-fashioned quarter-acre block. And I'd come to know and greatly respect Danny Passaros. And I'd seen some of his developments and I'd talked with him, and he was both a developer and a builder. So we had an arrangement where I was to be the developer and he was to be the builder. And then I also had a contract with him where he would be a consultant to me as the developer, or to Jane and myself. So what we decided to do was to follow a pattern that he had created before, where there was underground parking for 3 cars for each apartment, a storeroom, a cellar, and then on the first floor having 2 apartments and then a larger apartment on top. And that was a formula that he'd done before, and it had worked very well, and we'd seen, and we were very much drawn to it. But it was a complicated process, and Danny Passaros was wonderful in the way that he's helped us at every stage. And part of the process was, of course, designing the places, and Danny had a close working relationship with Fred Zudeveld of Overman Zudeveld, and Fred was a wonderful architect for us. And we worked through all the different stages together, and I think we've come up with a fantastic finished product.
So John, you were actually the developer in this process. What were the implications of that?
Well, we really had 2 options. One was to sign a contract with Danny Passaros where he was the developer builder, and we signed off on what we would receive in the end. It might have been one of the apartments, or one of the apartments plus a certain amount of money. The other possibility was for us to be the developers, where we'd sign a building contract with Danny Passaros, and that's essentially what we did. But because we hadn't been developers before and we were inexperienced in this, what we decided to do was that, plus we signed another contract with Danny where he was a consultant to us as developers. So essentially we had 2 contracts with Danny. One was Danny Passaros as the builder, the other was with Danny Passaros as the consultant to the developer.
Well, it's a fantastic development, Jane. Congratulations. Must have been a huge amount of work. If there was one bit of advice you want to leave people at home with, what would that be?
Get very good advice, top professional advice. We had an excellent architect, excellent builder. They work well together, and they have done for a long time. And the girls who, from Upmarket Design, who came in and furnished this place, they were brilliant. I just said I'd like it to look homely, left it to them, and you can see how it looks.
Well, I really wish you all the best in selling both these spectacular apartments here at Bindaring Pde.
Thank you.